Solopreneurs, come on down! Unpacking all your business woes on the go. Your queens of business banter, Laura and Lindsay. You're in for a hilarious half hour of unconventional, unpredictable, unadulterated solopreneur shenanigans, jam-packed with pearls of wisdom and actionable aha moments. Let's get ready to banter!
On this episode of Banterpreneurs, Laura puppet shames the Wiggles.
Lindsay discusses why the word should be banned from our vocabulary.
And we discuss how to get what you want in business and life by putting a sock on should. I'm pretty excited. We're back. Hello.
We're too excited to say anything properly and do this properly.
We can't speak, okay, because we're totally excited. The Banterpreneurs is back, baby.
Wah.
Yeah, just in case you didn't hear that. So welcome back, everybody, to season 2 of Banterpreneurs. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, but it's great to be back.
It is. Why don't I tell everyone who, well, you are. So
Can you tell me who I am as well?
Mate, we haven't got enough time. Let's just go with the easy version. Maybe we'll unpack that during this episode. Anyway, the easy version is she is a Lindsay Drummond. She is an improv teacher, a creativity coach, and she is wearing a t-shirt that says Paris, but she's never been to Paris.
Yeah, it's not actually true. I have been. Yeah.
Oh, did I make that up?
You made it up, but that's what we're doing, guys. We're making this shit up. It's an improv podcast, okay? No preparation. It's like magic what we do here. Meanwhile, she's Laura. She's still figuring out her title. She's a mother, but that's not all she is. She's also a kick-ass podcaster.
Yeah, I am.
While she's figuring that out, she's Laura. She also wore a very similar thing to me last night. We were online and we did not coordinate. We just had this mind meld. We call that mind meld in improv, where your minds meld together, and turned up in animal print, but not normal animal print, like green animal print, like both of it. Like, what are the chances?
What are the chances?
What? Yeah. If you know what the chances are, just put it in the comments. We'd love to hear,
please,
from all the mathematicians.
Write into us at PO Box.
Totally. If you know what those odds are,
it's like 33 squared. 33 squared.
Yeah, cool. I was going to say
that. I feel like there's a pie in there and all.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pi, people. It's infinitely impossible that we would have that same color and print at the one time. But serendipity, and if I was, paranoid or maybe very, very new age, I would be taking that as a sign that Banterpreneurs has to start again.
But she's not paranoid or new age.
I'm not.
She's much, much worse.
Yeah, totally. Psychopath people. And we've done it again. We're in black and white. And I don't mean in our minds. Oh, is that a segue?
Well,
is that
actually?
Can I feel a segue coming on? I don't know.
Well, if you can feel one on, you take it, because I can't. Because now I'm trying to decide what I do see. Do I see things in black and white in my mind, or do I see them in color? I have no idea.
Interesting. I think it depends what it is. It depends what it is. Yeah. Well, that whole thing about like people who have a spider phobia. If you say spider, think of a spider. Their immediate thing is like a massive, huge spider that they see right in front of them that's moving and it's bright and it's there and it's probably on their face. But if you say to somebody, and it might be in black and white or it might be in color, whatever's worse for them, maybe black and white. But if you talk to somebody who's not scared of spiders, they're going to go, spider, oh yeah, it's in the corner of the room. And they're not affected by it. The size is different, the color is different, whatever. So it depends is the answer to that question. If we see things in black or white, not, and I'm talking like literally in our minds, see visually things in black or white. But of course, the segue is, do we see things in black and white as in decisions that have to be made, or
like metaphorically speaking?
Yes, darling. Metaphorically is where, that's where I'm at straight away.
Well done. I have not attuned my brain since, I was going to say since shitting out a baby, but that's not how it works. I now know that first. Yeah. I think that would actually be worse if it came out that hole. But that definitely would be.
Could it? I don't think that would be good.
I think it could. But I will check after this. I need to start writing a list of all the things I need to check after this episode. My Google history is getting worse and worse as we speak. Anyway, I'm going to let you speak for a minute while I just cleanse my mind of all of those things.
Get those images out. Are they in black and white, or are they color? What are those
I've
images?
experienced that same thing. When you think about how the internet works or how telecoms work, and you just have to stop. Like, that's where I'm at right now. I just need to stop because I can't think about where the babies can come out your a-hole.
It's too much.
See, what color is it?
and to be honest, it's probably how I feel about the fact that you just used the word telecoms. I mean, that where did that go from 1982?
What do you call it then?
Telecoms. That's like from landlines, like when there was landlines. Do you remember that? Like,
yeah. So what do you call it nowadays?
But what I'm interested in is, what is telecoms in your mind? What is it? Like, is that the internet, telecoms?
No, on the phone. Stuff on the phone.
Yeah. No, but now now the phone, like the general phone. I don't know. Do you have a landline? Do you have a land? Right, yeah.
No, okay, I'm too cool for that.
So the phone works on waves, right? Her face. Okay. She's like, no, don't bring in microwaves in this conversation, because I'm already like, how's the internet work and the telecoms? You're classic.
I wonder how many times I've used that word.
Telecoms. Look, I love it. Okay. And I've got to say that this is why we do this show. Okay. And this is why I've totally missed you. Okay. For what is it? 14 months we haven't done this?
14 months. Yeah.
Is that like a month? Elephant baby gestation? I feel like that's a long time. Like, elephants go for a long time, like gestating babies.
They gestate like motherfuckers.
But the important thing is, do they have telecoms though? Elephants. I mean, I think
their trunks.
Oh, okay, interesting. That nice save. Nice save. Telecoms. Okay, so I'm going to expand that and go. Telecoms must mean telecommunications. Is that?
Yeah. Oh, well done. Now you're catching what I'm throwing.
Okay. Telecommunications, and so people, elephants do that all the time.
They do.
Just letting you know. Okay, I'm going to smash it round to the segue. To the segue.
Please do.
So I'm feeling like the segue, and we were kind of discussing this last night in a bit of a workshop we were hosting, and it was around the shoulds of life, and we were talking about not shoulding all over ourselves, while we're in that domain of speak. And basically that when you say should to someone else or to yourself, you're basically going wrong. Like, whatever you've just done is wrong, or because you should have done something else, right? And I feel like we get very black and white. This is the segue. Look at that.
There you go.
Black and white about right and wrong, what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. And just the whole thing about the should is actually from outside ourselves usually. So I'll give you an example. Okay. So, I'm an improv teacher. I also do like improv coaching, so improv personal development. And when I was thinking about what to do with my business, there was a lot of shoulds about, okay, you're an improviser. I don't know why I have a puppet now. So my hand
is always have a puppet.
Should I get a puppet? I've got one in the cupboard.
Well, actually, just a quick segue.
Yeah.
I was watching the Wiggles this morning, right?
As you do.
I don't know how many $1 million the Wiggles make. #Wiggles @Wiggles. I want you to hear this, Wiggles. And they were doing 5 little ducks, 5 little ducks went out one day. Yeah. And they were using just their bare hands as the ducks. Wow. I mean, come on. They have the budget for a freaking hand puppet.
Puppet shaming? Are you puppet shaming? Are you saying
yes, I am.
They should have had a puppet? Is that what you're saying? It's just
they
not good enough.
Should. And back to your point, I'm saying they were wrong. They should.
They were wrong, man. They should have had a fucking puppet on that hand. All right, I don't want to see the bare hands. I want to see.
I don't want to see their bare hands. I really don't. Like, come on.
Oh my god, that's so funny. On it. That is so funny. Right. Okay, so the puppet is here. So people who are listening to this, I'm basically doing like the puppet thing with my hands. Okay. So you have to imagine that there's a puppet, which is, I think, what the Wiggles' intention was. Just imagine. Use your imagination.
Just watch the Wiggles and you don't have to imagine it.
yeah, that too, right? So this imaginary puppet basically is like what I'm using as the metaphor for my should. Okay, so this imaginary puppet, okay, I'm an improviser. So this imaginary puppet's going, so don't you think that you should, go and do a lot of performances because that's what improvisers do right now. Anyone who can't see this, I just did fucking awesome ventriloquism.
I'm so happy that you ventriloquized on a podcast, though.
I know. So it's just worthless. Now everyone just thinks she can't say the letter P. That's what they're thinking right now. No, my lips didn't move. Laura's attesting to that. Okay. So let me say that like somebody who's not as good a ventriloquist. Okay. So the puppet is saying, don't you think you should do like more performing and go to festivals and be an improv performer and do all that stuff, right? Now, if I listened to that should, because that's what most improvisers do. Like if you're an improviser, that's what you do. You perform, you go to festivals, you do workshops, you do all that stuff. And so if I listen to that little puppet should or whatever that's going on there, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now and doing improv personal development because that's not in that sphere. It's not in that wheelhouse. For me to think outside the box of that, I need to get away from the should, right? And we were talking about last night, okay, so what if you changed should for could? So I could be an improviser and go to all these festivals and do performances. And I do. I did a performance the other week. But if I say to myself, okay, you could do that full time, why aren't you? I go, because I don't really want to. Right? That's not all I want to do. Yeah, that's not all I want to do. I want to do improv in another sphere. I don't want it to just be about performance, right? If I just stop at the should, I just feel like shit and I'm not doing the thing I should be doing.
Yeah.
If I say could, that opens up more thinking outside the box, more solutions. It's kind of like, well, I could do that. Well, how come you're not? Well, because I don't want to. How come you don't want to? Well, because I feel like improv has more to it than just as a performance tool. And now that means I'm allowed to do, because we talk about permission as well. I think that might have come into something that we've spoken about recently.
Yeah, I think that was a private conversation, Lindsay. How dare you?
Nothing is private on Banterpreneurs, okay? Just know that, okay? Fucking anything you say is here on the podcast. Right. So let me not digress. So let's go. Okay, shoulding all over yourself. Could talk to me. What do you think? That's a good start.
Okay, well, look, I'm coming back predominantly as a mum right now. My husband and I have still got our restaurants that I help him with when he's not being annoying. which isn't very often.
It's like, darling, are you being annoying? Because I won't be helping you unless you're not annoying.
We shall not be growing the business today.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back into the world, sort of. I actually still want to hang out with my kids a bit more than, no, I was going to say a bit more than most. That's not fair. Most people want to hang out with their kids, but they have to go back to work and stuff earlier. I'm very lucky. I don't have to go back into full-time work at the moment because of my annoying husband. So I guess he's not that annoying. So the point of me saying all that is just because maybe some of my stuff right now will be linked to parenting, as well as more so than business. Totally. So that was coming into my head as you were talking. I'm really going to quickly touch on that, though I know we've got like a million listeners who are business owner parents.
Look, I think there's a good chance, and I don't know the odds on this. Can you put in the comments what the odds on this are?
Can that mathematician also
the mathematician, right? Can you just tell us what are the likelihood that business owners also have kids? I think it's quite high. So I think it's fine.
Okay. So we're good. So obviously with parenting, there are a million shoulds, and that comes from so many different places. It comes from the way we were parented, both wanting to do the same thing but also wanting to do the complete opposite. It comes from societal pressures, what we see other mums doing around us, what we see on the telly. You know, maybe I would be questioning right now, should I be using my hand versus a sock to do the puppet thing? And so that's been a really interesting journey to let go of those shoulds, and tune into what I think is appropriate. And it's actually really hard when you are hanging out with other mums. I think this might be one of the blessings of being a geriatric mother. I'm 42 now, just so you know, that's what I'm talking about. I think it's from 35. Is I do think I have worked through a lot of my own shit, so I am more comfortable in who I am and what I stand for. I do see younger mums just like not having a great time, to be honest, because a lot of it is because of the shoulds. I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be doing this, which is a shame, but that's their journey. We kind of have to just let them, you know,
shoot all over themselves.
Out how to tune them.
Just let them do that.
Exactly. So that's been really interesting. But then what else is interesting is when you do become a mum and potentially a parent, I can't speak for the men, but I'm guessing it's probably the same, it throws up a lot of questions about who you are and what you want in life, which is why I do not have a title right now. We spoke, I reckon it was one of our really early episodes about sunk costs. Do you remember that? It was with Mike.
It might have been the ugly baby
doing epic
stuff.
So sunk cost is where you've put you've invested a lot into something. It can be time, effort, money, energy, blood, sweat, tears, all that stuff. And then you come to the point where it's like, do I want to continue with this? Is it worth continuing with this? Or am I just doing that because I have invested so much, or because I think I should? So there's been a lot of that because I have invested so much in my business. There's a lot of, well, you know, should I keep going? Because that's what I have been doing. That's what I'm trained in. That's what I'm known for. You know, there's lots of shoulds. I don't know the answer to it yet. It might be, yes, keep going. But I've been sort of doing my own head in, trying to figure that out. So the conversation we had last night around should and could was really interesting for me to be able to continue this conversation with myself, but in a much more productive way. So I have been should, whereas I can say now, I could go back into coaching, I could go back into speaking, and then like you just said, so how come you're not? How come, you know, what would happen if I did? And ask those sorts of questions. So I think, and again with the parenting, so I think in those places, those sorts of questions can be really helpful when we feel a bit stuck as well, to get us unstuck and help us to just see a path. We're not going to figure out all the answers from it, but the whole point of saying could rather than should is to just take the next step forward, right?
Yeah, and also just linguistically, like could is a word that is a possibility word. So you're in empowerment, rather than should, wrong. Yeah. So it's kind of like should, you've done something wrong because you didn't do the thing you should have done. Could, you are making a choice. So you are in this place of empowerment. And I think, you kind of, if you do that, if you decide, look, you know what, I'm going to listen to the shit that I say to myself. And every time I say should, I'm going to change that to could. I just think you just get better understanding of, well, what's stopping me from doing that thing?
Yeah.
And do I want to do it at all?
Yeah, exactly. Probably not, because I just want to sit in my undies.
That goes without saying, but
even my bra. But also, I think it does, like you said, it's possibilities, right? So it sort of gives you, there's that word permission again, to explore possibilities. So
100%.
You could do anything.
Yep.
Right. So then you can explore, well, is that viable? Do I want to or not? So I could just go in a completely different thing and go back to university and become a brain surgeon.
You could.
How come I won't? Because I don't even know how telecoms work.
Yeah. Nice callback. Nice callback.
Totally. I could become a potter because I'm loving watching the Great Pottery Throwdown right now. Do you know what I mean? Like it allows me to consider the potential ridiculous stuff, but then in doing that, I'm pretty sure it will lead me in the path to the actual thing. At the moment, I'm only going down one path, the path I currently know, because I'm shoulding. Whereas if I could, I think it will open lots of doors that I can go and peek through and then decide which one might be worth going a little bit further into.
Yeah, and I think there's also the point that once you can let go of the should, then you can also let go of the guilt. So very often we're just holding on to guilt for no fucking reason, really. You know what I mean? Like,
what's the point of guilt? Like, why would you hold on to guilt? Like, does anyone have a valid reason to hold on to guilt?
Well, yeah. I mean, look, I think, clearly if you've done something really bad and you feel guilty about it, well, you can feel guilty for a while. I don't think it's helpful to feel guilty forever. But I think, guilt is supposed to be like to teach us not to do shit again, But I think we
constantly feel guilty.
Yeah, you get stuck. You get stuck in that feeling, and that feeling of guilt, is aligned to the feeling of shame, and shame is the lowest of the low. It's the thing that, you really don't want to feel because there is just there's just nothing good about shame. Nothing. It stops you in your tracks. There's no way to get out of that, feeling.
I'm trying to think if there's even one good thing about shame. Just in case.
Like I said, I think I said this to you. I don't know if I said it to you yesterday or I said it to you the other day when we were talking, but for me, shame is one of the only feelings that is socially constructed. So, you can feel upset, you can feel sad, you can feel happy, you can feel joy, you can feel enthusiastic. Shame is something that, again, you violated some kind of rule, and then usually that's a societal rule that's put on you. So for me personally, this is what I think. Most people, feel a lot more shame in their lives than they need to, really. So if I feel shameful about something, there's probably only one or two things in my entire life that justifiably I could probably feel ashamed of doing. Like if I cheated on someone. I didn't think this would be a podcast where I said that, where I brought that out for this person to know. But hey, guy, it's been a while. Okay, and at the time,
shame on you.
I felt pretty bad. So that shame, fair enough. I own that. I don't want to say the C word. I'm going to say it, but I was that.
Really came out.
I did. Did you see that? Did you see the regulation there that I was able to stop
done.
Yeah, so I'm patting myself on the back for that. So yes, there are certain things that, like that I would feel shame about, but I'm limiting it to like one or two things. And most people probably only have one or two things I could truly be feeling shameful about, but that's not how many times you feel shameful. And most of the time it is from society or from the shoulds or from the expectations of others. Like I had a client who she had come out of the closet 20 years ago, and then she recently did an interview where she was talking about this process of coming out of the closet. And she said it was really weird. I felt shame, even though I've been fine with being gay for 20 years, but talking about it, I still felt this little bit of shame. And I told her about this, look, that's not yours, that's a social construction, and I said, if you're gay, that's natural. How can you feel shameful about something you can't control? Right. So, she did get a lot out of that. And it did make me think more as well about that concept that shame is the worst feeling of all, but it's literally constructed most of the time, So there's a freedom in that. It's kind of like, I feel shameful about something. I really got to look at that and go, is this for me? Is this coming from me even? Or is this something else? Is this something someone else has said, or, society's rules on, what you should be, or and especially in a mother situation, right? Society has a lot of unspoken sort of rules or archetypal mother type shit that goes on. And a lot of people might feel shame because they feel like they're not living up to that. But that is 100% constructed. It's not coming from a person.
Yeah. And one of the interesting things, being a business owner and a mother, I never thought about it as shame before, but certainly there's an emotion in that realm where you feel like you should get back into work as soon as possible. And I've really wrestled with that because I don't want to. I want to hang out with my child. I'm lucky my parents have now moved over, so she can be with them for a couple of days a week, which is lovely. Everyone wins in that situation. But it's just really interesting, like, everyone's going through the daycare thing and talking about going back into work and stuff, and I haven't. I'm very, very, very much the minority, like massively the minority. I need to try and find some other people actually that are in my situation, so I've got some people to hang out with. But so that's thrown up a lot as well. Why am I not doing that? What's wrong with me? Should I be doing that? Is it because I want to hang out with my kid, or is it because I'm scared of going back into it? Like, it's thrown up a lot of stuff, and it's really taken me a long time to just get comfortable and to say to other people as well, nah, I'm not gone back into work properly yet.
Yeah.
That's the end. I don't have to justify it as well.
No, you don't have to justify it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You don't need to justify. And I would argue that it also depends on who you're around, because it is socially constructed. There would be people who are more about business and working who would think you should go back to work, and there'd be more people who are more traditional and, a child needs the mother at home thing. So again, that's socially constructed.
Yeah, it's literally everyone's own choice. And I have no judgment on anyone. Whatever you want to do, whatever you decide to do, whatever you need to do, that's a-okay. But whatever you want to do and whatever you decide to do, there's always some feeling of judgment coming from somewhere, probably largely our own heads. There isn't a right thing to do, basically.
Yes.
Like, as far as society is concerned, but really the right thing is to just do whatever the heck is the right thing for you. And that doesn't go for just this situation, it's all the things, right? Any business decisions we have to make, like I do know from my coaching days, women do tend to agonize over decisions more than men, if we're going to put people in some boxes and generalize, because we're scared of getting it wrong. We're scared of letting people down or whatever. So we really do shit all over ourselves when really we know the answer all along, but we spend so much of our time and energy assessing situations and trying to predict every possible outcome rather than just going, I could, done. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, you're saying I could go back to work, or I could stay home, and then asking, well, what stops you or makes you do either of those things, and then you get more information about that, and that information lets you know about yourself and your own true feelings about something, rather than always being swayed by the people. Because I'll tell you something, man, people will give you their opinion even when you don't fucking ask for it, okay? And people want you to think that it's somehow really well thought out, and most of the time it's just an emotional opinion. It's just something that they've got and they just give the thing, you know, and it's kind of like we get into this weird thing where we think that's a fact. It's like, it's not a fact, it's an opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And they're entitled to that, but they can have it over there. That reminds me, actually, a friend of mine was in her mid-40s and had to have a hysterectomy. She didn't have kids, but she didn't actually have any intention in having kids. And after the hysterectomy, she noticed how lots of women were like, oh, you know, that's real shame. You know, you can't ever have kids, blah, 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 blah. And she started to feel bad about it. And then she had this realization. She was like, that's their shit. Like, I have never wanted kids. So the fact that I now can't have kids really isn't a problem. And if I hadn't had a hysterectomy, I may not have, you know, lived any longer. You know, so that was a very important thing to do. And so she said, once she realized that was their shit, their belief systems, you know, whatever, that was creating their opinions and their advice on doing those things. What are they? Quotation mark things.
Quotation, funny ears.
Yeah. She was able to just let it go. Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah, nice to see the singing's back too. Yeah, exactly. 100%. It's like, this ain't my shit, but I'm taking it on, you know. And I think there's a very, very, very long and involved conversation around that, and around childhood, and around, you know, society and all that, which we won't get into. But I think the main thing, you know, we kind of want people to know is, you know, the should thing, it's so automatic. It's like, just really be aware and present with yourself. How am I saying the should, and how often am I saying the should? And if it was changed to could, what is the possibility within that place? You know, and that people's opinions are just people's opinions. I'll tell you a story, okay?
Oh.
I went to Toowoomba because it's awesome. But apart from that, because there's a flower show and all that stuff, I went to a cafe and I got an eggs Benedict, but it was on a croissant, right? Now, this eggs Benedict,
fancy,
amazing. It was so good. I'm just sitting there minding my own business. Okay. Now, the croissant has the eggs Benedict. What is it? Hollandaise sauce, Béarnaise sauce, whatever it is, right? And so
Hollandaise, baby.
Is it? It's Hollandaise, right? I don't know. You do the restaurant shit. You know this shit, right? I don't know. You might not know about telecoms, but okay, but you know about...
Shame on you again. Yeah. I'm putting the shame on you.
Shame me now. Let me self-flagellate here in the Da Vinci Code and the fucking okay. So the croissant, right? It's got the hollandaise sauce, so it's going to be messy, right? So what do? I use a knife and fork, which I don't usually do to eat a croissant, but I do. So I use a knife and fork from nowhere. Okay, outside of the cafe, because the cafe is in the middle of a shopping center. This guy walks past, right? This older guy walks past and yells out, "Pick it up with your hands!" right at me, right? And I just go, "But I'm a lady," right? And he just laughed, right? He just fully laughed, right? I got to tell you, man, guys, you want good comebacks, come to improv, okay? Because I never used to be able to come back like that straight away. So I go, "I'm a lady," or whatever, and then he starts laughing and he walks off. But here's the thing, guys. This guy does not know me. I've never met him in my life. And he has an opinion on how I should eat a croissant with hollandaise sauce on it, okay? You don't have to...
And runny eggs, no?
And runny eggs. I'm not picking that up with my hands. Like, I'm not, okay? So people, honestly, will give you their opinion. You don't need to even ask for it, okay? You can just be minding your own business, cutting your croissant, and here's this smart ass, pick it up with your hands, okay? So I just want to put that out there, okay?
Yes.
It's your croissant, people. Eat it the way you want to fucking eat it.
Oh my God. And if you didn't catch what she was throwing, the croissant is now a metaphor.
Oh! Slam dunk, man. Slam dunk.
You set him up and I'll knock him in, sweetheart.
Yeah, totally. Great. So, I mean, I think that's really the message that we're talking about today. Yeah, that seems fair.
Yes, it is. And I would like to get you to summarize that message today, because normally I do the summary, but I think you must do it because you're the authority on this subject now. That's my opinion.
This is really like putting me on the spot, and which is what I do. I'm an improviser. So if I do this shit, I'm gonna have so much shame about this. I'm gonna go, you know what? You should have said this. You should have said that. You know, the whole time I'm gonna be berating myself. I'm gonna be whipping my back. And all I'm gonna see is that guy yelling at me like about that croissant. That's all I'm gonna see the whole time, like,
in black and white.
In black and white while I'm doing this. My God, what a callback. So in summation, so look, Laura does usually do the summation. Okay. So I'm not really sure why she's thrown it to me, but I'm going to try my best, and there's no way I can come close to her expertise. But in saying that, basically we all have a puppet. Okay. We all have a voice that is within our head, and that puppet is quite used to saying the word should. It says it a lot, and if you could see me right now, my lips aren't even moving, right? And that puppet says should, and it's in there all the time saying should. That puppet has been influenced by other puppets. We might want to call them Muppets. I mean, that's really what they are. The Muppets of the world. Yeah, that's what we should call them. The Muppets of the world. Okay, that's what we could call them. And so this is there with us all the time. Talk, should. We have the power to go into the place of possibility and transform that should into a could, so that we can find out, what do we really, really want? How can we not be swayed by these Muppets all the time? These Muppets who are giving us their opinions and their constructions and all this sort of stuff. And so, you know, what I'd like you to take away from this today is basically, I'm just running with this, guys. This is improvised. What I'd like you to take away from this today is that you listen very carefully to what you are saying to yourself. And instead of attacking yourself from outside the cafe, okay, you make it a could and find out who you really are. And same.
That was so profound, darling, so profound. And by the way, can I just say, all I could think about when you were saying that the puppet is the should was that, because her hand is bare, referred to earlier in this conversation.
Yes.
She has a bare hand. Their bare hand is the should. I put it to you, people, that we put on the sock of could over our hand.
Oh, nice.
We wrap the shoulds in the coulds, and we fuck off the shoulds and the Muppets.
What is that's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah. When you
was that okay? Was that an all right summation, Laura?
Yeah, it was excellent. When you should suffocate that motherfucker and put on the should of the could.
Put a sock on it.
Sock of the should. You know? Put a sock on it. Yes. That is what you can say. Well done.
That's the t-shirt. That's the ones we're bringing out. Put a sock on it. Yeah. 100%.
I'm also thinking there could be a side hustle with that saying, but that's for after hours.
Yeah, we're not going to let you in on our big business venture ideas. I mean, we should keep those quiet. We should.
We could tell you, but we won't.
We're not going to. Nah. Okay, because we don't wanna. All right. okay, can I add something? And that really negates, a summation, but can I add something to the summation?
Of course.
Even though that does negate the summation, but
There
hey,
are no
I'm
rules.
right. Even though that negates it, yeah, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on.
totally.
Think.
Okay, rewind it. Oh yes, I found it. Okay, so, and you did mention this before. Stop justifying. You don't need to justify your decisions to people.
Oh yeah.
You don't.
Yes.
You don't.
You don't.
For the Muppets.
You should not.
You should not. You know what? You could not do that. You could
but that's
not do
just
that.
our opinion. And if you've taken anything from today, don't listen to that.
Oh my God, that's like the metaphor within the metaphor within the metaphor within the metaphor.
We are drowning in metaphors now.
We're drowning. Yes. I feel like that's it. I mean, you got anything else to
swim
say?
away.
Yeah.
I have nothing more to add, Your Honour.
Yeah, me too, Governor. Nothing. That's it. All right. Yeah. All right. Do you remember how we used to end this thing? Because I
think we just say bye.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Do it on 3 or okay. Bye.
Oh. Bye.
What? Bye. All right. We could do it. Count to 3 and do it. Yeah.
Okay. Or no, let's do that.
Yeah, I'm open. Or
no, I think we should do it. I think we're running the risk of going on.
Okay, don't should all over yourself.
Said should. Holy moly!
You said should, guys. See that?
Then
it's instinctive, and it's not just Laura. It's all of you people, right? I'm the only one who's perfect at this. Let's just be. All right, after 3.
Okay.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Banterpreneurs. If you have a question for us to answer on the show, submit it on our website at banterpreneurs.com. And if you liked what you heard, give us a review and share the love with a fellow business mate.